Good afternoon. I'm David Talbot, Managing Director and Head of Research at Red Cloud Securities. Our next presentation is from Blackrock Gold Corp, an explorer focused on blue sky epithermal gold and silver projects in Nevada. I introduce you to Andrew Pollard, President and CEO of Blackrock. So Andrew, you've got 15 minutes to present, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A session at the end. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link below. Go ahead, Andrew.
15 minutes to describe why I think this is my favorite exploration investment right now in the market. That's quite the challenge, but I think I'm up for it today. It's good to be back here with all of you. This is probably our second or third Red Cloud conference, and it's always nice to be a part of what Red Cloud's doing because they've been a big supporter of our story and a big part of our success so far. For those of you that aren't familiar with us, we're on the Venture Exchange under BRC, and we're also on the OTCQB under the symbol BKRRF. Certainly going to be making a lot of forward-looking statements today. Hopefully, everything I'm looking forward to now will be achievements within this 12 calendar months, because we've got a very, very serious 12 months ahead of us in terms of what we're looking to achieve. But as I said, at the end of the day, it's not about gold or silver. It's about an investment. And it's about making money. So I'm going to start, from a macro point of view and look at this from a structure and capital perspective, and then we'll look back and look at our project and really highlight the opportunity there. So right now we're trading around $90 million market cap Canadian. As you'll see, we came out of nowhere this summer on the back of our very first drill result into what's become our flagship silver and gold asset in Nevada, where we hit, I think it was still the best drill intercept of the year in all of Nevada for 2020. It added over $100 million to our market cap at that point. And we coincided that perfectly with back when silver had been building for about 4 months straight and was just kissing $30 an ounce, and gold was at the all-time highs that week. But what that did was it changed our shareholder base significantly. This time last year at PDAC, we were a $15 million market cap company. I think we were trading around 20 cents. 2 weeks later, right when COVID was announced, we traded all the way down to 7 cents when everything was getting liquidated. And fast forward to July 31st, we were trading at $1.61. So we created a lot of wealth out of thin air in just a few short months. And obviously since then we've consolidated just as the rest of the market has as well. But man, we've been proving up what we've got, and we think we've got a monster by the tail down in Nevada. So Blackrock is focused on two projects, but really our flagship and all of our valuation right now is tied into our Tonopah West property, which was where we hit that really incredible initial drill result, which was about 29 meters of a kilogram per ton silver equivalent. Now, Tonopah West is literally the halfway mark between Las Vegas and Reno. In fact, the highway goes right across our property that connects the two, and it is in the heart and soul of the Walker Lane district, which is world-renowned gold belt. I think it's got around 80 million gold ounce gold endowment, and we're about 15 or 40 kilometers from Kinross's Round Mountain, which has already poured about 15 million ounces of gold. So, this is a tried and true mining district, and we've now consolidated half of what is one of the largest silver districts in all of North America at what's looking to be the perfect time. So Tonopah, the Tonopah Silver District, this time 100 years ago, would have been one of the most significant precious metals districts in all of the United States. In its heyday, it produced up to 14 million silver equivalent ounces per year. So this was an absolute whopper within the mining world back then. And actually to this day, the significance of the Tonopah silver discovery is one of the most important discoveries in all of Nevada mining history. It's second to only the Comstock lode in terms of historic silver production, but this was the last sort of gold rush frontier style district scale discovery that happened before World War I in the area. In fact, it spurned a lot of other discoveries right nearby from this big stampede of prospectors that came into Tonopah, including the Goldfields discovery, which in the early 1900s became the largest city in Nevada at that point. So, everyone, these days thinks of Nevada for its gold endowment, but to this day, it's known as the silver state. Nevada actually became a state because of the Comstock lode discovery in about 1859. It was that discovery that financed the Civil War. And because it was so rich and because it played such a monumental part in Nevada history, the government actually granted Nevada its own representation, its own statehood, I guess, and senators in the Senate. Nevada quickly petered out, though, as did the Comstock lode. And by the 1880s, 1890s, it had all been effectively mined out, at least using that technology with Comstock. Nevada had lost 2/3 of its population by the time that Tonopah was discovered. And as I said, Tonopah led to some of the most significant gold rush up until World War I. Now, very few silver stories out there are actually true silver stories. In fact, according to the Silver Institute, about 29% of silver production comes from silver primary mines. What we have down in Tonopah is something truly unique in the silver space, because Tonopah historically produced at 100-to-1 silver gold ratio. This is a pure play primary silver precious metals district, which immediately makes it stand out from the pack. But I'll tell you what also makes it stand out. If you look at the top silver production producers by country, you'll see that United States does make the top 10, but I mean, it pales in comparison to Mexico. Mexico is the #1 producer of silver by a country mile. Well, Fraser Institute just came out with their list of top mining jurisdictions on the planet. You know where came #1? Nevada. You know where Mexico fell to? It fell to number 42. It was behind Guinea. What we have in Tonopah is so unique. Not only is it pure play, it's high grade, and it's tied to both gold and silver, but it blows out all of the competition. I mean, half of the top 10 silver producers in the world didn't even make the list of top jurisdictions on the planet. What we're thinking is, if we keep advancing the ball like we are in Nevada right now, our ounces in the ground, should we keep delineating them, should be worth more than any other project on the planet within the silver space. So historically, Tonopah produced 174 million ounces of silver and 1.86 million ounces of gold. So as I said, it was about 100-to-1 silver to gold ratio. Now, the standout here is the grades, though. Back then, it averaged at 1,300 grams per ton pure silver, over a kilogram pure silver. On a silver equivalent basis, when you factor in the gold, it was over 2 kilograms. These are off the chart type numbers. So not only are we in a good jurisdiction, not only are we a pure play silver project, but these grades would be enough to make Einstein blush. The story of Tonopah can be told on this bar chart here. It was discovered in 1900, and from big outcropping, really rich mineralized veins at surface, and they started mining them right away. They didn't do any drilling back then in 1900. They just started mining the outcropping veins. It's an east-west trending set of, I guess, high-grade vein corridor. The discovery was made from the outcropping veins at surface on the eastern side of Tonopah. And what happened is, as production progressed, they moved westward. We now control all of the western half of this silver district. And as you'll see by the bar chart here, production fell off a cliff right before World War I for some obvious reasons there. But the real nail in the coffin happened in 1923 when precious metals prices became unpegged. Silver up until then had been pegged at $1 an ounce. Within about 4 years, it had fallen to 35 cents an ounce. It sent all of the large mining companies in the district into receivership. They were taking out significant debt to fund development, and then when silver prices tanked, they couldn't pay it back. We're the first group to come in, consolidate this district, and that was done with the help of illegal royalties, who really did the hard yards in putting together this package of patented mining claims, privately owned mining claims, for the first time. And we now control all of these colored portions here. It's the largest land holding in the Tonopah Silver District, And as I said, the western half of the district represents the blue sky potential from our point of view, as that's where the last of the commercial production took place when I guess everything hit the fan in late 1920s. So, we're not starting with a blank sheet of paper here. This isn't a grassroots exploration endeavor. This is a district camp scale brownfield opportunity. We've got over 55 kilometers of underground workings historically that have really helped guide us in our exploration here. And as you'll see, most of those workings are only, on the eastern to central part of the property. They had to stop before they really started exploring westward. So, our best targets are actually still in the areas where they were mining historically, because they got cut short. In fact, two of the mines that we're drilling into now, they actually did development work on, but never actually got around to mining out the ore. We're going in, we're confirming that they left it there. We're hitting it out of the park so far, but the entire western half of our property is wildly underexplored, especially given what we know about this district. And, in terms of districts, I mean, once again, we're not in Mexico, we're not in Peru, we're not in Bolivia. This is halfway between Vegas and Reno. You can walk from the drill rig to the Subway sandwich shop right there and the motel on the other side. We've got everything from water, personnel, electricities, casinos. I mean, it's too good to be true from that perspective. The other thing too is, there's a reason why you want to be in Nevada versus Mexico. In fact, one of the standout reasons that corporates have been, approaching us is because they want to get out of Latin America right now. Mexico, for example, just created a new police force specifically for mining companies, which you're obligated to use. It's very much, harkens back to the old days in Brooklyn when, they'd say, nice mine, be ashamed if something happened to it. You get all these hidden taxes, which are going to be piled on. You've got all these countries that are looking for new ways to generate revenue. Nevada's not going to mess with a good thing, and obviously number one's hard to compete with. So here's what a property looks like from a target point of view. We've identified 5 different target areas. We've got mineralization pretty much across the entire property, but this year we're going to be focusing on really drilling out 2 main targets. The DPB target, which is in the central part of the area there. We're actually going all in on a resource definition drill program this year, meaning we're the first group to drill into most of these historic mines on our property in nearly 100 years. We started with our maiden drill hole and drill program last June. We're going to go from first drill holes ever into a property to delivering a maiden resource estimate by the end of this year. That's pretty unheard of. So we're trained on the tracks in terms of proving our valuation just based off this one target, but we've got other targets which we're also drilling out, which should show a lot of value for investors, and it's going to require a lot of drilling. Last year, between June and January, we drilled about 30,000 meters. This year, we're going to do at least 40,000. I think we've completed about another 9,000 meters since the beginning of January, and we've got 4 drill rigs in operation, meaning we're a drill-driven story. We haven't had to stop and reload. We haven't had to do any retargeting. At the point right now, I mean, we've been delivering high-grade intercept after high-grade intercept after high-grade intercept. Our model right now is predictive. There has been no surprises really in what we've been drilling. It's been exactly in line with what we're after. In fact, the only surprises we've encountered so far are the new veins we've discovered. You'll see grades up here. Our highest grade intercept, 4.6 kilograms silver equivalent. We've hit gold grades of 26 grams gold, over 2 kilograms pure silver. What we're doing is we think that we'll be able to deliver a resource just on that one target area of about 4 to 5 million tons. If you were to average out our intercept so far from just our early drilling, we're averaging at 800 grams per ton silver equivalent, thereabouts. We deliver something like that. Those are Silvercrest type numbers in terms of resource. So, we've come a long way in the last year, we got a long, long way to go in terms of valuation, re-rate potential. So that'll hand it back to David.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Is the goal here to be a pure play silver company, or would you accept silver and gold credits, given that, perhaps byproduct credits will make the project
Yeah, well,
that much more economic?
this is yeah, no, this is a pure. I mean, it's a silver gold district, right? So I mean, what we call it is sort of irrelevant. It's at the end of the day, we're all of our intercepts we're releasing in silver equivalent, and that's because silver is making up the bulk of the credits here. But most silver production comes from polymetallic mines, lead, zinc, silver. In fact, half of the silver companies out there are really zinc companies or lead companies or copper companies. They're not silver companies. We're a silver company with gold credits in the best jurisdiction on the planet. So it's very, very unique. But these grades are something, nothing short of incredible within just the silver space.
Yeah, actually, I think about 30% of silver companies out there are pure play. 15% come from gold mines. So that's why, as the base metals have dried up here over the last several years, so have silver. So, are you betting on grade? Is that sort of
Yeah,
your
well,
focus here?
we're not betting on it, but we're hitting it. We're using, our intercepts, we're using a 200 to 250 gram per ton silver equivalent cutoff. So we're thinking that these are going to be, just as they were 100 years ago, ultra high grade, um, uh, high margin underground mines. Being in Nevada too, with the whole green push that America is going on, we think that this is really going to set us apart. We're not going to be building these big open pit operations, but having a silver primary district that's going to not really disturb that much from a environmental footprint point of view. This should be really, really appealing as we look to develop it. And at these grades, I mean, we deliver anything in line with what we're looking at. This will be one of, this will in the top 3 or 4 high grade mining silver primary projects on the planet, let alone jurisdiction.
Okay, so that sort of leads into the next question. What do your regional prospects look like? Do you have a pipeline of targets reaching out beyond your near-term resource growth?
Yeah, well, we do in fact. So our DPB target, that's the area. It's a series of about 6. Well, they were mining 4 veins. We've now encountered 2 other veins that the historic miners didn't even know about, and we've stepped out well over 500 meters there. So now we're infilling between those to build out the resource. We think that that's going to represent maybe about 50% of the total ounces on the property. But what we're seeing in terms of potential, we think the historic miners left more for us in the ground than they ever got around to extracting, because they got cut short really, really early on due to the metals prices. We're drilling at Victor right now, and Victor area was the largest vein in the district. When they stopped mining, it was 24 meters thick, and that's where we hit drill hole number 1. We see huge potential there. In fact, the potential between Victor and DPB, that little wedge you see, there's 2 faults on both sides. Victor's faulted out and DPB's faulted out. We're actually drilling right in between there right now because those faults happened after the veins were formed, meaning they're probably just offset. If we're able to connect the dots there, that'll add significant tonnage for the project in its whole, but it'll also allow us to look at developing them both simultaneously, going underground and teeing off at the veins straight from their face.
Yeah, so obviously you're using previous underground mines as targeting tools, and does this lead you into any deeper targets, deeper high grade targets?
Yeah, well, Victor, what we're doing, Victor was 24 meters thick when it stopped mining, and the reason they stopped mining it was because they ran into water. So what we're doing is we're following the down dip extensions there, and we've confirmed that now. Hole 1 hit 29 meters of a kilo. We just released in January that we were able to duplicate that down dip extension from there with a core drill rig. We hit 18 meters it was about 300 grams or so. And now we're just going to keep working it down. So yeah, we think that the grades might even get better the deeper we go. Certainly the thickness seems to be, anywhere between 18 and 29 meters thick. At those grades, the ounces should start to pile up seriously. Yeah, we're following down dip extensions and strike extensions of these known veins. We're not reinventing the wheel here. This is mine expansion style drilling. We're just literally picking up right where the historic miners left off.
Okay, and how close to a residential zone would your theoretical mine be?
Yeah, well, the town of Tonopah is actually right next door to us. So We get all the benefits of sort of working adjacent to near a town, but you know, it's pretty much all blue sky around us here. The other thing is, I mean, we have surface rights over the whole area, and these are privately owned patented claims, meaning not only are we not dealing with the federal government in terms of permitting, but you know, we're able to go and set up drill rigs pretty easily and not really have to permit drill holes. And you know, once again, you know, we're not going to be building a big open pit sort of thing. We're not going to be have to, you know, move houses or anything. These are going to be ultra targeted underground mining type scenarios. So shouldn't really affect the town too much.
Okay, and then just a question about your 43% institutional ownership. Is that entirely a non-trading cornerstone investor?
Well, I'd say Eric Sprott's among our largest shareholders right now. We've got the largest gold fund in Europe is our second largest share. I guess him and actually they'd be our largest shareholder now. And then, I mean, you know, even we did a $10 million bought deal via Red Cloud just last month. And I mean, that was purely institutional. And I believe some lucky clients were able to get a small allocation. But, you know, we've got some serious holders. And what they're seeing is, you know, all of the retail shareholders are so excited to see the stock go up, you know, to, you know, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, $1 range from where we were. But all the institutional, all these technically driven groups are looking at it where we are right now. They're saying, holy cow, this is the beginning. You know, you guys have this thing. So they're right. You know, we're raising more money now, and we turned down more money than even we set out to raise, because these groups know that this is truly unique in the silver space, great jurisdiction, all of that. And we're going to be proving up some pretty good ounces, we think, pretty soon. And you know, we're not a one drill hole wonder anymore. We've got 42 drill results out so far. We've got enough intercepts that really there's no guessworks into it now. We're just connecting the dots.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much, Andrew of Blackrock Gold. Up next, we have New Placer Dome.